Okay, thank you for joining me for this session today. And today we are going to see how you can take advantage of Elementor when building content-rich and dynamic pages, all without using code, but with SEO in mind. But first of all, my name is Milan Milicev. I'm a web designer with more than 14 years of experience. I work with small family businesses, big corporations, and everything in between. And in that time, I made somewhat over 400 websites. I have my own WordPress and /Elementor course. And and I worked with Elementor at product marketing department as a competitive research specialist. So today we're going to talk about SEO. And I guess all of you already know what SEO stands for. And you guessed it right, it's secret, Elementor, options. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, why choose WordPress? WordPress now powers somewhat around 44% of all the websites made on the internet, with 65% market share in the CMS market. It's open source, which means that you actually own your content and your data, and you can freely change it. One of the main benefits of using WordPress is also the community. So there probably isn't any problem in the WordPress market that you will come across that doesn't already have an answer on some forum or Facebook group or a YouTube tutorial. You can also easily extend your WordPress experience with 60,000 free plugins on the official WordPress.org repository, and you can also choose one of the many premium plugins. The best example of that is Envato. So Elementor is a page builder, a plugin for WordPress. And it's #1 most popular page builder for WordPress with 11 million active installs. And one of the highlight features are the theme builder, which gives you the ability to not only create the content, but also the header, the footer, single post, archive, single product. Like any corner of your website, you can use the page builder to design it. You can also take advantage of dynamic tags to pull data. There's a built-in form builder, pop-up builder with conditional logic. For example, you can only trigger a pop-up if a visit comes from Google or from Facebook, exit intent, pop-ups on the scroll percentages, a lot of options there. There's also global settings where you can set your styles, fonts, colors, and that helps you that your content will be the same across the board, so you have consistency. Notes is a great new feature that Elementor added, which helps you with collaboration. Full website kits is great when you have multiple projects and you do the same thing over and over, so you can bundle your content, global settings, plugins, bundle it all together and have a quick start. So Elementor is a plugin for WordPress, but being so popular, it has a plugins for a plugin. So we call those plugins add-ons, and you can extend Elementor with more than 900 additional plugins. There's a great community similar to WordPress. There are a lot of tutorials, courses, Facebook groups to give you support. That ties into the content that is being created. And the whole idea behind Elementor is for you to use less plugins. So, for instance, you don't need a plugin for a gallery or a contact form or a slide or a carousel. Elementor has a bunch of those things built in, and they all work seamlessly together. So, for instance, you can use dynamic tags to display a title in the slider, for instance. So that's the whole idea, for you to have consistency. Less plugins equals more performance. And I like to keep my presentations more on the practical side. So now we'll take a look at a demo. So I'll show you how actually Elementor works. So if we create a page in WordPress and install Elementor, we have this Edit with Elementor button, and it's a drag and drop page builder. So let's say we want to create a typical hero section with 2 columns, and let's just quickly set it to 80% of the height. And you can simply drag your heading, then drag text, and drag, for instance, a button. And let's say we want to have this in the middle, like this, and we will have an image. Here we go. And also, let's position that. So you can see how quickly you can build out your page. You can add new sections, you can even move around different columns, and there's a great right-click menu where you can, for instance, copy and then paste an element, or duplicate it, and so on and so forth. So this is how you build out your structure without code very easily. And I made a list of interesting features that could help you on this SEO journey. So I made a website for a fictional agency, digital agency, that looks like this, and we'll use this as an example. So first of all, when you drag, let's use a new section. So when you add a new heading, okay, like this, and let's just add it. You have the option to use semantic HTML, which means that you can choose, like, I want the H1 or H2, or even it doesn't actually have to be a heading. You can use like a div span or a paragraph as well. So this is a great way for you to choose how you want the code output to be. Then, when we talk about semantic code, one of the key areas is also the header area. So in Elementor, you can create the content, and then you can add a header and a footer. But you don't actually have to exit to get to it. You can just hover, and you have this edit header. And for this whole section of a header, we can choose the HTML tag, and I'll choose header. And then we save it, and the HTML code will be header, and then everything will be placed inside of it. And for instance, this is the Nav menu, and some tags don't actually have to have for you to choose. The code is written with semantic in mind. So if you take a look at the Nav widget itself, I don't know. You can see it's the Nav tag is being used. So for some instances where it matters, you can choose. Others are already being developed as it should. And the similar thing we have with the footer. So you can go here, edit footer, and same as we had with the header, you can choose footer. Another interesting feature is the use of the dynamic tags. So for instance, we have this copyright information, and let's say, for example, we write copyright, and we add the current year, MJ Marketing. And then we set our calendar to 2023 to remember to update this year. But the good thing about using dynamic tags is that we can actually use the date. So we have current time date, and when we added the usual is to have the whole like month, date, year, but we can go custom and then just type Y for a year. Then we have before, so copyright, and after MJ Marketing, and that's it. So we can use dynamic data. This is a basic example how to get the year. Okay, and another interesting use of dynamic tags is actually the custom fields. Custom fields is a feature of WordPress, but it's much easier if you install a plugin for you to manage it. So let's say, for example, I have some type of data that I use multiple times across my website. For example, like a phone number, email, or an address. So I have it in multiple places, header, maybe footer, contact page, or on some other places. And I can use these custom fields, and I actually created a custom field for myself. Let me just go here, and I added simply added the phone number. Let me just find it. Here's contact info. So it's just a text field with my phone number. And let's add here 111. Save it. And then, for example, when I go to my header, and this is a CTA, a button CTA, so I can, instead of typing it, I can use dynamic tags, then scroll to, not custom field, but options, option, and then choose the phone. And just, I want to have some text before it, so contact me, call me. And here it is. It has the 111. Let's just check it on the front end. Yeah, it's already here. And the same goes for the contact page. So this is a simple contact page that also has the same way to pull dynamic data. It doesn't have to be a button. This is an icon box, and title and description is also option, and I have the phone. So if we go on the back end, change this to 222. And imagine now that you have this on like 15 different places, and even you cannot remember which one they were. So this is a quick way for you to not have to worry about changing the content. Another useful feature is personalization. So I believe that in the near future, when I visit a website and you visit a website, we won't necessarily see the same content. We can already see this. For example, my Instagram feed doesn't look the same as yours. But I believe that this will be moved over to even business websites. So a frequent thing that we see in email marketing, it says, hey, Milan, this is our new newsletter, here is the info. So it has my name in it. So we can use that type of approach here with another dynamic tag option. So we have here, hi there, beautypreneur. This website has a niche of like beauty salon owners and that are entrepreneurs. So we can get this text and then use dynamic data in a similar way that we would use it in an email. So we'll use a request parameter, which gets from the URL key value pairs. And let's say the first name, like F name is our key. And then we want before just to say hi there. And let's just have a backup, a fallback. Hi there, beautypreneur. So let's update. And using an email client or something similar to that, we can use like fname equals Milan. I have that data in my email client. And when I visit that type of link, now you will see, hi there, Milan. And this is a simple example how you can increase personalization on your website. And okay, another good thing to add is when you have links like these CTAs, let's, for example, say that this button leads to a contact page. So I can manually type in like my website / contact, and that will be the usual way to do it. But let's say, for example, our client or we decided to change. It won't be now contact us, it will be reach out. And we change it, and then we have to remember where are all the links and buttons that we added that link. A better way of doing it is to use internal links. So again, dynamic tags, and then we choose like internal URL, and then just select content and search for it. So contact, and save it. So if we like use it the old way, if we change the link in the main nav and try to reach out, it will give us a 404 page. But now, let's actually change it. Let's see, now that we've done it with an internal link, let's reach out. Okay. And now that we use dynamic tags, it will actually still go to that page. that it's changed. The reason being it's not relying on the actual link like text, the slug, it's relying on the ID, which doesn't change when you change something on the page. So this is a great way for you to reduce 404 error with dynamic links. Speaking of buttons and links, another good feature is for you to add like custom attributes. So you can add like rel, then pipe signed, and for example, sponsor or no follow. So you can add any of these parameters that will be actually outputted in the code itself. So if we do inspect element, look for the link, and you see the rel no follow. If you don't see it, believe me. But if it's actually just a no follow, there's a quick checkbox here as well. And speaking, now we can talk about like rich snippets, and a frequent thing to have on these type of landing pages is the FAQ accordion, which you can quickly turn into, you can add rich snippets quickly just by toggling this FAQ schema. And if we save it, just to double check, take this link and then use this test just to see if Google would actually pick it up in the right format that we expect to. It might take a minute or two. It should be faster. But the whole idea is that it's really simple for you to add it just by turning on the toggle in the accordion. There's also a toggle widget. So accordion will collapse previous items, and the toggle will just keep expanding them. So they're basically similar. So if we see, take a look, the FAQ is, no, it's being read by Google. So you can see answer, question, and everything is as it should be. For example, let's take a look at a simple blog post. So with Elementor, you can build your own dynamically how a single blog post would look like. So you can add like, set the width, you can add social elements, you can add a sidebar, anything you can do with the page builder itself, you can create a dynamic single post. Another cool widget is the table of contents that you can just drag, it's a widget, and you can set like, I just want to include H2 and H3 tags, but I want to exclude all elements that have a specific CSS class. So I don't have to manually create this table of contents. It's being created automatically for me, and everything is linked. So that's another interesting addition. I like to point out like some of the things also impact your workflow. So for example, I mentioned this right-click menu. So you can use it to duplicate. I can maybe change one element. Let's change its color, for example, and let's change the font size, and let's change this text. So you can, as we saw, you can use to copy and paste, but you can also use copy and then not change the content, but just paste the style. So this is another great way for you to save time when building pages. If you take a look at this right-click menu, for the most of the options, you will see the shortcuts, so Command or Control D, C, V, so this also improves your speed when building websites. Another interesting thing is this Navigator, which is another way of viewing the structure in your page. Sometimes it can be hard for you to click on some things or to move them around. You can use this Navigator and expand all of the containers and elements so you can view them in this type of order. Then we also have Finder, so it's easier for you to get it. So Finder, and this helps me jump to, I can jump to Team Builder, or I can jump to pop-ups or contact like pages. It's reach out now. to any other page. So like for me to quickly search and go to those pages without exiting, waiting for the page to reload, and clicking on the pages, then contact. Then if we have some widgets that are being repeated throughout the site and we need to make some changes, let's say, for example, this sign up. This is a form, so you can save it as a global and give it a name, form, and then when you drag it on another page, change it there, the changes will be synced in all places that you have it. And another interesting time-saving trick is you can actually drag and drop images right into the editor, and it will be the same as you would go like add an image, then click, then go upload files, then select your file, and then upload it. So you can just drag from desktop and the image will be uploaded immediately. And now we'll exit the editor. Let me just copy this to save time. Okay, so frequent thing that I believe all of you do is to implement Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Facebook Pixel, all of those lovely things. And you can use Elementor custom code to do it. So you don't need additional plugin for that. You can just use, let's say this is a Google search. This is a verification, add it in the head, paste the code, and we can set where we want to add this code, to the head, to the body start, body end, and we can also set priority if we have multiple codes, which will have, which one will be on top of the other. And when we publish it, you can choose where you want to add it. For example, for Google Analytics, you wanted to have it on your entire website, but for this verification code, maybe you just want it on your front page, on your home page. And you can save and exit. So this is a simple feature that will save you like 3 or 4 plugins maybe. And then when you talk about tools, Elementor has a page for that. So let's say you change your domain, you can use replace URL. And another feature is the role manager. So sometimes you need to add access to your client, and that sometimes leads to some not so good decision on the side of your client. So they maybe move things around on your landing page and ruin it. So you can set what different type of user levels can do what. So no access to the editor, to Elementor editor, but this one is more useful. So allow to edit content only. So when your client logs in with this, they can only change the content. They cannot move around elements, change the style, add new sections, so they will only be able to change the content. This may be useful for a client or maybe a copywriter or somebody on your team that doesn't have technical skills, and they can freely move around and change only what's needed. And speaking about collaboration, one of the recent new additions is the notes feature. So now, let's say in the past, when you work with your client, with your team or your copywriter, it maybe involves a lot of taking screenshots, sending them via email, Slack, or some other way. But now you can enter this notes mode and just go, for example, click on something and add, can we change this to H3, for example. And you can also tag people. So Milan, can you change it to, and leave a note. So you can actually use this also to add notes to self. And then I will get an email, somebody tagged me with the note, and I can view it, I can add like it's done. And once it's actually done, I can mark it resolved. And here on this notes panel, you can view all the notes. You can view all the notes on this page or all of the pages. So it's a new day, I want to see all of my tasks and go one by one. You can also see show resolved or show unread only. So you can filter through them really easily. Let's say you have you're building landing pages, multiple landing pages on multiple websites, and you have a certain way of doing it, certain styles, certain templates that you use, certain plugins, and you don't necessarily want to start all over again. So we can go here to Tools and Import Export Kit. So you can create a template kit, which will include the templates, the content. It will also include if you have a custom post type. So usual post types are post and page, but if you have some additional ones, you can add them, and site settings like fonts, colors, theme settings, layouts, and stuff like that. And then you can landing page kit, add some more description, then go next, and it will generate, it will bundle it all together, and you can say, for this type of kit, I need like rank math SEO. And then create a kit. It will bundle it all together and give you a zip file. Then you go to a new website, install Elementor, go to Tools, Import, and then import that kit. And again, it will ask you, do you want to import all or just templates, global settings, and content? So you can choose what to export and what to import. And we looked at how the a single blog post may look like, and you can add different things. But I'd like to show you one example of a single product, and this is the typical WooCommerce layout that you may see. You have the image on the left, and then you have the title, price, short description, buy section, and the main description. But using Elementor, you can recreate this page and add more content to it. And improve your conversion rate. So this is an example that I did. So the first thing you will see is we added a top bar like free worldwide shipping. Then we added ratings. We linked to see reviews. Then we added, again, the custom field. So every watch has a certain diameter, and this one is 32 millimeters. This is a light box with a size guide. Then you have the short description. Then we added this icon to improve on the trust of purchasing. Then we added a video here as multimedia. This is a tabs widget that has additional elements in it. So for example, this is a tabs widget with an accordion widget. And we also have like instructions video. And then we added a more convincing testimonial section with a button if you want to go to see more reviews on Trustpilot. And this is also an interesting addition. Like a lot of people reviewed our products, and this is Elementor widget that is called Video List. And we use the top 10 video reviews from YouTube, for example, and we added them here because a lot of purchasing decisions are being made based on our research. So we gathered a lot of good and insightful reviews. And also, if you take a look, as soon as we leave this add to cart section, another one appears up here with the title of the product and add to cart. When you click on it, it jumps back for you to add to cart, for you to not to forget it. Now, I'd like to show you something that I wouldn't recommend you doing. It is, so Elementor being so popular, it has integration with all the popular SEO plugins like Yoast, Rank Math, All-in-One SEO, SEO Press, like all of them have direct integration with Elementor, not just on the WordPress side. And I've taken a website and I've installed and activated all of them just to quickly go to see their options, but use only one SEO plugin. Don't do this at home. And you will see a common theme with them. So all of them have this SERP preview. You can edit the snippet. Most of them have only one focus keyword in the free plan, except Rank Math. And you can see the preview for Google, preview for Facebook. Some of them even have Twitter. And they will give you this traffic like green, yellow, red which indicates like, did you enter all of the necessary details and information? So this just goes to show like that Elementor, again, being so popular, it has this gravitational pull for other plugins to have direct integration with them. And another common thing that is being discussed around Page Builder is the performance. So an HTML site may perform better, but you lose the lack of dynamic things like forms or dynamic tags, or editing HTML sites is not the best experience. So I've set up like 2 of my favorite performance plugins, and I've done others various things just to show maybe how will it be measured on the Google Page Speed for mobile, which is the only thing that we actually look at. And let's just see. Yeah, and you can just demonstrate the point that you can get good performance result with WordPress and with Elementor, and you saw it has a lot of images, sections. It's a typical landing page. And let's just go back here. So to do a quick recap, we went through over why and what and why choose Elementor. We went over semantic HTMLs. I showed you multiple ways that you can leverage dynamic tags. We looked at custom attributes and how you can use that to add no-follow or sponsor links. We looked at rich snippets with the accordion FAQ, some workflow tips on the right-click, the Navigator, the Finder. Then we looked how to add custom code for the Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, tools like replace URL, notes for collaboration, full website kits to get you quickly started, and we looked at a landing page and a single product e-commerce, and we also looked at some integration with some popular SEO plugins. And that is it. I will gladly take your questions if you have any. If not, thank you. Question, yes. Okay. Yes, great question. So my biggest discovery of the year is this Perf Matters plugins. It's an awesome plugin. Lightspeed Cache, I use Lightspeed Cache if it's a Lightspeed server or WP Rocket, but with Perf Matters, the usefulness of WP Rocket has diminished significantly, but I can show you I think the Perf Matters is lesser known, but it's awesome. It's a premium plugin, not that expensive, but I get the biggest jump in performance with it. So it disables a bunch of WordPress things that I don't actually use. So you can see it quickly here. You can also manage the WordPress heartbeat, and it has also a script manager. If you really want to dive into it, so for each page you can disable or enable certain scripts. So for example, some contact form plugins will load their JavaScript on all the pages, but you only use it on the contact page. So you can really go deep and precise with this script manager. You can defer JavaScript, you can defer all scripts or only specified ones. It has a really good remove unused CSS. I started to switch from inline to file recently, and it has like preloading. So I preload the logo on all pages, and I preload the hero image only on the home page, like by ID. And it can automatically preload critical images, and I set it to 2. It's usually a logo and a hero image. And then you have the lazy load. So lazy load all the images, again, 2 images. So you should preload the things that you see on your first screen, but lazy load everything below it. And It has the ability, if you use Google Fonts, you can store Google Fonts locally, which is also a GDPR concern. There's some options for CDN, and there's also tools, for example, for the database that you can like auto-optimize it every week, for example. So, of course, like good hosting, setting your images to proper size, compressing them like tiny PNG or something similar, not using too many plugins, which again, Elementor enables you to use less plugins. So there are some common sense things. Also, for example, with Elementor, when you drag, let's just drag a video anywhere, you have the ability to add an image overlay. So you can add an image, and that will also help you with not loading unnecessary things until you actually hit play. So these are the few things. And with the Lightspeed or WP Rocket, I usually just use minify to minify CSS and JavaScript. And that's basically, yes?
Does Elementor also has a function for minimizing images automatically?
No, not. Yes, that's a valid point. Another thing that I use there, it's performance.
So the drag and drop function.
Yeah, it just uploads. Yeah. Another thing that I use, this is a demo site, so I don't have it. This WP Vivid plugin is a great plugin for like backups and migration, but in the Pro version, they have this Image Optimizer Pro, which converts your images to WebP, and it also has a compressor. So previously, I used EWWW. This is also a great plugin if you want to convert your images to a WebP, because the WebP is being supported by more and more browsers now. It's a good time, I think, to leverage it, but you still need this like picture, and then you have the WebP, but you have the fallback to JPEG or PNG. So that will also affect. Yes?
What are the best free and easy cache solutions for cache plugins that work well with Elementor?
Like I showed, Perf Matters has done wonders for my performance. Lightspeed, also WP Rocket. There are others that are being recommended by, for example, Perf Matters guys like WP, I think it's Fastest Cache. That one, there are some others, like, for example, there's Nitro Pack, but it had some, I didn't use it, but it had some debatable moments if they're cheating on the tests, but I don't know. But Lightspeed, the WP Rocket is a standard, but it's a premium plugin, and Perf Matters is my #1. Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much.